Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Being humble and being able to understand that your ego is a huge part of who you are, for better or for worse. And a lot of people in life will take that ego and they will try to do something with it that is in the realm of narcissism, where they'll take that ego and they'll squash people with it. They'll know and understand that they have more than other people, that they're smarter than other people, that they're more capable and more successful than other people, and that their failures, even though everyone else around them have had similar failures, their failures didn't pull them down into the trenches like other people did. It didn't take them down to the briar patch and the tar pits. These people were able to walk out of the swamp and able to still become successful. They still were able to maintain a piece of who they are. No matter what happened, they always were maintaining the essence of who they are. In the microcosm world of being a human being, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that is that's a noble trait. If you can go through anything and still maintain who you are, that's great. But be humble about it. Understand that it is a rare thing. Understand that you have the capability of helping other people by what you've been through, passing on what you have learned, teaching people what they don't know, passing on your intelligence, and sharing information, sharing experiences, and not taking for granted your existence in life. And being humble will aid you in that. The ego is a powerful thing. It can be used in many ways and a lot of people use it as a malevolent thing, where something as a tool, as a weapon. They'll use their intelligence, their strength, their power, their position, their stature in life, their status in life. They'll use that to crush people who they believe are less than they are. And when we're on the quest and the path and the journey of achieving goals and achieving dreams and reaching high and adding value into our life, a person with a big ego comes off oftentimes as a bully with immense tools and power and strength, and they're able to squash whatever they want and seem like they always succeed, no matter what. They're bigger than life, they're larger than life. So they think. Outside looking in, we see these people completely different than what they see. Again, we go back to that premise of you are what you present to the world, even if you don't believe it. So if you know you're a weak, cowardly, pathetically fragile, feeble creature, and you present to the world this compassionate, beautiful person who is willing and able to help anybody and anybody through any situation, you have all the answers, people will believe you. Why? Because people are gullible, and the people are also looking for answers. They're looking for somebody to give them an answer of why they feel the way that they do. When people ask you to listen, a lot of times they don't want an answer in return. They just want you to listen, right? But at the same time, they want to validate what they're feeling through your understanding of what they're feeling. And if people don't understand what you're feeling, how alien do you actually feel in those moments? You feel like a fucking alien. You feel like you're not even from this world. When you come to somebody and you say, you don't even say it sometimes, you just speak. You tell them, you spill your guts, you empty out everything that is about you. And this person that you did this to basically shrugs. Oh well, on to the next thing. How do you feel after that? You feel as if, wow, what is the point? What is the point of me feeling all these feelings if I can't share them with anyone? Which is why we feel such an incredible amount of love and admiration for people who actually have the ability to just listen. Not so much give up answers and have all the solutions, just to listen. It's important for a human being to understand that aspect about themselves, that a lot of times we just want to talk and we just want people to listen. We don't want to be interrupted. We don't want to be talked down to. We don't want to be bullied. We just want to talk. Humbleness and compassion are two things I had to learn the hard way. I went through a long stretch of my life where I was not humble, and I certainly went through a hard stretch where I was not compassionate. I've always been empathetic, but empathy and compassion are two different things. You can feel compassion for somebody, but not have empathy for them. You can look at someone and say, sucks to be them. In some ways, that's compassion. Empathy is, sucks to be them. You hear the tone shift in there. It's subtle, but it's there. Empathy, you feel what that person's feeling, and it will invoke a different reaction to how you approach certain people. Where compassion is, I understand what they're going through. And there's nothing wrong with that. Empathic abilities are not something, that's not so much of a skill. It's not a skill. I know people have said that you can learn to be empathetic. I suppose you can at a certain level. I guess you can. If you build enough compassion and passion in yourself to be able to feel what other people are feeling, I suppose you can. But a true empath knows what a true empath feels like. And it's not the same as compassion. However, there's a divide there. I don't expect people, most people I meet, why would you expect them to be empathetic? All I'm looking for is compassion and humbleness. People whose egos are in check. There's nothing wrong with having an ego. We all have egos, whether we like it or not. It's there, it's present, we all see it. I don't care who you are. Everybody has an ego. If you have any level of self-respect for yourself and self-love, you have an ego. Your ego dictates that you want self-respect and self-love. People say the word ego and they automatically go to arrogance and narcissism. That's not the case. You can have a strong ego and take that into the positive realm, the positive direction, the positive process of being a human being. There's nothing wrong with saying I have an ego and I want to fuel my ego with positivity. What's wrong with that? If it's okay for people to fuel it with negativity, why can't we fill it with positivity? I just always have found lately here, one of the things that sprung up immediately after I just kind of woke up and decided I wanted to go on a journey of enlightenment and empowerment for myself, one of the things that I needed to get in check real quick was being humble, get my ego in check, and learn compassion, true compassion for other people. Not to cut myself off from emotion, from myself and from other people, but to embrace that emotion and understand what that is. I've always been an empath, but I never tapped into it quite as deeply as I did when I woke up and understood that compassion is different than empathy. And that being humble fuels empathy. Because you remove your ego from the equation when you're dealing with other people. You realize that your ego is a part of you. It has nothing to do with the outside world at all. My ego has nothing to do with another person, another individual. It should not even be brought into the equation. This is my personal opinion. If I have a flaming, boiling, volcanic ego, positively, fueled in the right direction, I mean, that has nothing to do with another individual that's close in my life that I hold in high esteem. If that passion went the other direction, it was a negative fuel, it too has nothing to do with anybody in my life. My ego is me. So I set that aside and I look at people now in a completely different light, completely void of my individualism in their life. Where in the past, I had this sense of not wanting to control people, but I wanted people to be connected to me. I wanted to feel a connection with people deeply. And a lot of times, unfortunately for me, because I didn't know any better, I wanted these connections with people who were toxic. And a lot of these people were in my life for a very long time. And I had to learn the hard way that being a toxic person, that's their ego. And my ego, being a person who had a form. I displayed for a very long time very narcissistic qualities. We all do. But I was on another level with the shit. My ego got to a point where I thought I was smarter than I actually was, stronger than I actually was, more in shape than I actually was. I thought my career path was better than I actually was. I thought I was a better husband than I actually was. I thought I was a better father than I actually was. Better family member, friend, coworker. You name it, I thought I was better than I actually was. Nobody put me in my place but me to figure out where I needed to be in life. Other people want to take credit for your transformation. When you wake up, everybody now all of a sudden wants to take credit for that. I was the influence in his life. He's the reason why. I'm the reason why he woke up. I'm the reason why he's the man he is today. No, you're not. I woke up, not you. Doesn't matter how much influence you have in somebody's life, you can talk somebody into the ground. It is their subconscious, their choice, their intuition, whatever it is that make them wake up, has nothing to do with you. Individualism. Being humble makes you realize that in that regard, when you wake up and you realize you want better for yourself, being humble is what keeps you in check after that wake up happens. Because after you wake up, it's very easy to get into this realm of success equals I'm better. You are better for yourself. You are not better than anything or anyone or any place that's around you. You're better for yourself. Keep it centered. Keep it balanced. Don't overthink it. Don't think for 1 second you're better than anyone in life. You never will be. There's always going to be somebody better than you. People get on power trips. They get on these trips where they think in their mind, okay, I got all the answers. I got all the money, got the cars, I got the house, I got the trophy wife, trophy husband, got the kids, white picket fence, I got the dog and the cat, got the vacations, savings account, stocks. I'm good. All I gotta do is come home and relax. The problem is with that is that is a movie. That's not really true, because what that person left out is all the other little things that happen throughout the day that this person is severely and narcissistically neglecting. True, deep emotional connections with other people is needed when you start talking about being humble. Because when you don't take the time out for other people, that's not being humble. When you don't help someone else, that's not being humble. One of the greatest things, here's a perfect example. I was coming home from work today, and there was a homeless guy on the side of the road, and I saw car after car after car after car after car pass this guy up. And for whatever reason, I've always been like this ever since I was a kid. If I see somebody in need, I don't care what their story is. They could be making it up. Doesn't matter. For me, who I am, I need to know I did the right thing, regardless of what the intentions of that person is. So I stopped and I handed the guy money. There was a guy behind me, and what do you think this person did? Honked because I stopped at a green light to hand somebody who's homeless money. You put that in perspective, all the different things that are going on in that scenario. You have a homeless guy, regardless of what we know about his story, he's presenting to us that he is homeless. There's a guy in a car who has empathy, who looks at him and says, it doesn't matter if you're homeless or not. I can't live with myself if I don't take action in this moment when I have money that I'm going to spend on bullshit and give it to you. You have to live with yourself with what you want to do with this cash. The person behind me has to live with the moment of, I'm going to honk at a guy, not knowing his story and the other story of the homeless guy. I'm going to honk because I'm impatient. I need to get to where I need to go. But it goes full circle. Because the person behind me also could have had a very dear emergency. That person behind me's wife could be in labor. That person's wife behind me could be in trouble. A family member could be in trouble. Their boss told them to rush to work. I don't know that man's story. I don't know why he honked at me, but I'm not going to take it personally and say it's because I handed the guy money. It might be 100 other reasons outside of that. You see how this works. Being humble means you keep it to yourself. You keep things in perspective and you have compassion for everybody around you, no matter what the circumstance, and you're not allowed to put judgment on anybody. I don't care if the guy who I handed money to was telling the truth. I don't care if the guy behind me who was honking at me was actually pissed off or not. It doesn't matter. All three of us have lives to live. And in that moment, we all came together for all different purposes. What did I do in that situation, in that action? What was my action in that moment to make that the most as positive thing as possible? Not to judge the homeless guy to see if he actually meant it or not, hand him the money, and not to stick my middle finger up to the guy who honked at me because I don't know what his situation is. All three of us got our way. I drove off. Whatever. It is what it is, right? Nobody got hurt. No words were exchanged. It was a moment between three individuals, three different circumstances, three different purposes in that life, in that situation. And in life, these situations pop up all the time. If you're conscious in the moment of stuff like this is stuff that makes you humble. A humble person wouldn't have dealt with that the same way I dealt with it. A compassionate person wouldn't have dealt with that situation the same way I dealt with it. I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. I'm using it as an example to show you that we all have choices in every moment. And you have to understand that everybody is going through things, and you're not going to always have the story of what they're going through. Being humble will keep that in check. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff when you're humble, because you assume everybody's having a great day and a bad day simultaneously. Why? Because you need to base it off of your life. Do you have days where simultaneously you're having a great day and a bad day, literally at the exact same time? Happens. Be humble. Keep that ego in check. Understand that there are other people in this world who are not going to do that. That doesn't give you an excuse to act like them. Be compassionate with people who are asking for help. If you can help them, help them. Be compassionate with the people who are up in your face and pissed off that day. They may be having a bad day and you need to ask them, is there anything I can do to help you get through this day because you are clearly in distress? Be the bigger person. But don't be the bigger person who steps on smaller people because you believe they're smaller than you. They're not. We're all equal. Keep your ego in check. Be humble on your journey. Use your strength for good. Use your heart for compassion. And in every situation, you'll realize you will always come out a person that is respected and admired by other people. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall.